We begin with some breaking news this evening. We want to give you a live look at the King George Apartments off of Royal Prince Lane in Georgetown, where a police investigation is underway. You still see a police car there in the foreground. We are hearing there may have been a shooting, but we have a few other details to offer right now. We will update you as soon as our crew on the scene learns more about this. South Carolina lawmakers will be returning to the Capitol tomorrow after Governor McMaster issued an executive order tonight calling for a special session. It came shortly after the regular session adjourned. In his order, McMaster calls on lawmakers to continue debating on redrawing election maps. He also wants them to pass a budget, which they failed to do during the regular session. Actually passing redrawn maps may be difficult. You may remember an attempt by the legislature to convene a special session failed in the Senate earlier this week. One of the 5 Republican senators who voted against it was Tom Davis of Beaufort. He talked exclusively with WSAV's Andrew Davis about why he feels changing the maps now is bad for the party and his entire state.
We are now being asked to redraw congressional districts without any input whatsoever from the people. I mean, these districts are meant to serve the people. The districts aren't meant to serve politicians. They're meant to serve the people. And so we're rushing through to pass maps with zero public input, with zero public hearings from around the state, with zero, consideration for what people feel like are fair and representative districts. And so I don't know what's going to happen on the floor of the Senate. I'm going to make the arguments that I think are the right arguments. And at the end of the day, we'll take a vote and we'll see what happens.
The fight over redistricting is also heating up in Georgia. Today, members of the Georgia Black Legislative Caucus gathered outside the state capitol to protest next month's special session. Lawmakers and voting rights advocates say they're concerned that the new maps could weaken black voting power across Georgia. Speakers urged Georgians to stay engaged and called on businesses to speak out against any changes they believe could limit voting rights. Some also warned the controversy could hurt Georgia's reputation ahead of major events like the World Cup.
We're being called on June 17th to redraw the maps, not only at the United States federal level, but these will also be state level maps. So we're talking like my seat, Senate, House. This impacts our commissioners. This impacts every elected office here in the state of Georgia. So I need people to really understand this isn't just Congress, folks. This is all of the representation, all the elected representation that we have here in the state of Georgia, and that is the map that we will be redrawing.
Today, in a statement, Georgia Senator Jon Ossoff said the special session to redraw Georgia's legislative districts is a blatant scheme to undermine black representation in Congress and the state legislature by exploiting the Supreme Court's gutting of the Voting Rights Act. Georgia lawmakers are set to return to the Capitol on June 17th. Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger making a stop in Savannah today to thank poll workers for their service. Tomorrow is the last day to vote early in the Georgia primary. Raffensperger is encouraging people to cast a ballot.
A lot of times people are showing up in the fall and they're saying, well, how did we get these 2 folks? Well, did you vote in the primary? Oh, no, I didn't. So if you look at so many of the races, there's at least 2 people typically from every party that are running either the Republican primary or the Democratic primary.
Election day is Tuesday, May 19th, and you can find information on candidates, polling locations, and much more by heading to our website, wsav.com/electionhq. A new law passed by Georgia Governor Brian Kemp this month aims to help drivers with autism during traffic stops. WSAV's Isley Herschel has more on what this law entails.
Ben, that's right. Rio's law will require Georgia police officers to get extra training on assisting people with autism during a traffic stop. It also gives drivers a chance to get a special license plate, making it clear that either the driver or the passenger has autism or a developmental disability.
Traffic stops can be annoying for some people, but for those with autism, they can be much more stressful and overwhelming.
It can even be dangerous just due to sensory sensitivities, communication differences, or just misunderstood behaviors.
Shaniqua Gresham with the Matthew Reardon Center for Autism works with kids and young adults with autism every day. She says traffic stops can be very stressful for them.
Being around different surroundings, the sirens can be loud, that can be overstimulating as well.
She says a person with autism could have reactions that aren't understood by some people.
That reaction looks as though it's a behavior reaction, but it can truly just be them trying to understand the space that they're in.
The Savannah Police Assistant Chief Robert Gavin says they partner with local agencies to help train their officers on this.
We've had parents come in and present to our officers to say, my child has autism and here are some of the things they want us to know.
He feels the training and the license plates will help prepare officers for the interaction before it starts.
Having that prior knowledge gives the officer that ability to adjust how they approach.
Gresham tells me this is a powerful and necessary step in the right direction.
Having this law being passed, I definitely think it's a way for us to start bridging the gap and having open communication about what this community looks like and how we build an inclusive community.
The required training will begin on January 1st of 2027 for officers. It's going to include teaching officers the best techniques for conducting traffic stops and investigations with people who have autism. Isley Herschel, WSAV News 3 on your side.
Isley, thank you. An officer with the Glennville Police Department has been placed on paid leave and an internal investigation is underway. This comes just 1 week after the lieutenant got into a fight with a citizen following the conclusion of a city council meeting.
I did yell at you and I called you. All right, now leave. Get out. Glenn.
There you see Lieutenant Glenn Boyd shoving Justin Enfinger, ripping his shirt. This was right after Enfinger raised his voice, asked Lieutenant Boyd to step back, and called him names. Enfinger was at the podium having a heated discussion with the mayor, Bernie Weaver, moments before Boyd intervened. He says he was sharing his concerns about the police department's transparency and a lack of communication. Enfinger was raising his voice and cursing, according to the police report. He told WSAV that he is shocked that Boyd received paid leave.
I wish I worked for a company that I could do something so asinine and then get a paid vacation. So however that became a law that they could be suspended with pay, that's ridiculous.
An internal investigation into Boyd's actions is ongoing. Enfinger also shared concerns regarding the police department's training. The city clerk says the department is up to date on all training except de-escalation. She says that class has been scheduled. Attorneys for disgraced attorney Alec Murdaugh say their client will never take a plea deal after his murder conviction was overturned. Yesterday, South Carolina Supreme Court granted Murdaugh a new trial. The decision came almost 5 years to the day from when his wife and son Paul were killed at the kennels outside of their Colleton County home. This morning on the Today Show, Murdaugh's lawyers Dick Harpootlian and Jim Griffin detailing what Alec had to say after learning the news.
Yeah, Craig, we had told him that the argument went very, very well. We were very hopeful in the result. He didn't believe that it could be possible. And then yesterday, he was very gracious, thankful, and he said, Jim, I'm seeing, I'm reading it, and it's still hard to believe, but he's glad to get that moniker off of him as a convicted murderer of his wife and son. No doubt about that.
The South Carolina Attorney General says his office is disappointed by the ruling, but they will retry Murdaugh for the deaths of his wife and son.
Even though I don't agree with the court's decision, I'm disappointed by it, I respect it. It is my intention to seek a speedy retrial of this case. My hope is to have it teed up for trial prior to January 2027. So hopefully by the end of the calendar year, we will have this case teed up again for another trial. That is our goal at this time.
Number 2022.
Murdaugh will remain in prison for now. He was sentenced to 27 years in state prison and 40 years in federal prison for his financial crimes. A man described as Chatham County's most wanted fugitive is now in custody.
He wore a disguise, y'all. Let me show you how he was dressed. Give me 1 second. Y'all ready for this? This how Michon got away from us, y'all.
You may remember Sheriff Richard Coleman's social media post from last month where he talked about Michon Richardson, saying that he was wanted for a string of burglaries and claiming that Richardson managed to get away by disguising himself with a wig. In a new video, the sheriff shows Richardson being taken into custody. Coleman says Richardson was caught with the help of the U.S. Marshals Service. The sheriff says he hopes this shows criminals to stay out of Chatham County.
Chatham County will be safe. It will be a safe place to live. We want safe schools, safe communities, safe streets, safe everything. Because crime, I'm your worst nightmare. I'm a sheriff that gives a damn.
You can see the full 12-minute Facebook Live video on our website. Just click on the article on WSAV.com. A developing story now from Beaufort County. The chief financial officer is out of a job. A Beaufort native, Pinky Harriet, was appointed to the job in November of 2024. WSAV asked for clarification on her job status, if she was fired and why. All the county would say is that she is out of a job as of May 12th. Well, we have fewer than 2,000 tickets left to go in this year's St. Jude Dream Home giveaway. We are also running out of time for your shot at your next bonus prize. So local law firm, the Wilson PC Injury Attorneys, is sponsoring the prize for this week, a $5,000 Visa gift card. You just need to get your $100 ticket before midnight on Friday. If you already have a Dream Home ticket, you're already eligible for this prize. We caught up with Jared Wilson, the CEO of Wilson PC, about why they wanted to get involved.
St. Jude is, I don't think there's a better cause. I don't think there's a better cause. It's for the children. I don't think there's a better cause. And so to be, to have the opportunity to like take part in it, that meant a lot.
And here is a look inside the home. There is furniture inside now, thanks to J. Patrick's Furniture of Pooler. It doesn't come with the home, but you have an idea of how you might use the space. The home is open for tours on the weekends from 12 to 5, both Saturday and Sunday. You can find out more details about that on our website. Landmark 24 Homes built the house at zero cost to St. Jude in the Oakwood at New Hampstead development. If you don't have a ticket, just scan that QR code on your screen right now or visit WSAV.com/dreamhome.